The live-action adaptation Rampage movie came out of nowhere, hit the theaters, and then everything went silent. However, rumors are spreading about a sequel, but since nothing is confirmed yet, we're gonna take where the movie stands right now and take the first look at things and tell you everything we know so far about it. All you have to do is sit back and enjoy.
George. George?
Will there be a sequel? To start things off, one of the biggest stars in the world right now, Dwayne Johnson, is the lead role in the first movie, who's a brand himself and probably the best man for the job in these kinds of movies. His presence alone takes precedence over the actual movie and the rest of the star cast, but in this case, George took a lot of credit as well. People can easily get distracted by what's happening whenever the screen is showing Dwayne swinging, shooting, smashing, firing, fighting, or flying his way to save the world, single-handedly nonetheless. All in all, his presence alone is able to bring more attention to any movie he stars in. Prime examples are 3 movies: San Andreas, Skyscraper, and Rampage, which all look like they belong in the same universe because they're all connected to Dwayne Johnson, with each of them having a distinct identity like a giant albino gorilla, a planet-crushing earthquake, or even a physics-defying leap into a building. It seems like all of Johnson's movies are alike. Even the latest Fast and Furious iteration looks like a deja vu all over again. But that is his thing. That's how he does things his way. This doesn't mean that he's just following a convenient formula. Films like Moana, Central Intelligence, and Jumanji: Welcome to the Jungle are nothing but great balls of happiness and entertainment. His stand for his brand and what he believes in was the main reason the Rampage movie's ending was changed. The movie was one of the 2 hits for the actor. From the first promo materials itself, the movie screamed excitement. A movie based on the video game series in the 90s by the same name as we mentioned before. The movie follows the narrative with one change. Instead of a human, a gorilla is transformed into a huge one. The movie brought in some numbers too, completely ignoring the critics. The movie went on to collect $428 million in the worldwide box office, with it having one of the biggest successes in China. Thus, this success of the movie meant that the production houses can think of a sequel. The director of the movie, Brad Peyton, has even already hinted about his willingness to continue to explore this world, with Easter eggs hidden in the first movie, possibly directing tying up to the sequel. So far, Peyton worked on 3 movies with Johnson, and all 3 of them were hits, so it would only make sense that they'll move forward with a sequel, especially because there's such a grand and elaborate source material to pick up from. With everything at hand, let's talk about everything we know so far about a potential Rampage 2 movie. But to do that, we'll have a short recap of the first movie, which will help us and you to gain a more understanding of the plot for the sequel, in which we'll get into a little bit later in the video. As for the release date side of things, the only 2 main reasons would be Johnson's busy schedule and his availability, but seeing where he stands now, we think that even if the movie is confirmed right now, it would need about 2 years to be made eventually. Recap. The movie presents itself as the typical party, a larger-than-life good guy with star-studded credentials, few important side characters, and innocent projects to experiment on, and an evil organization. The movie starts with a lab rat destroying the station Athena-1, a lab run by Energyne, a shady business company about gene manipulation. The survivor of the disaster is Dr. Carrie Atkins, who tries to escape in a pod with the remaining pathogens. She's unable to return safely to Earth, and the canisters land in different places, one's consumed by Lizzie, the American crocodile, another by a wolf named Ralph, and the third one comes in contact with George, the rare albino gorilla who was saved from poachers by Davis, portrayed by Johnson, a former US Army soldier and a member of an anti-poaching group. The 2 have gotten close. However, the chemicals start affecting the animals. They're getting bigger and extremely violent. Dr. Kate Caldwell comes in to shed light on the issue, and that Energyne intended to use the pathogens and turn animals into biological weapons, with her being fired and put behind bars for refusing to play along. Claire Wyden, the CEO of Energyne, together with her brother Brett, try to stop the secrets from spreading by using the angry giant animals, with their initial plan to kill Ralph failing. Claire uses a high-frequency transmitter over the Willis Tower made to rattle the animals, luring them towards it, with Davis and Kate, with the help of Russell, rushing to the headquarters of the company for the anti-serum. As it turns out, there's nothing to reverse the changes completely, with the serum only helping the animal mentally and helping regain their consciousness. Ralph, Lizzie, and George terrorize the city in gorgeous CGI fashion. Kate pushes Claire with the serums towards George, who eats her, regaining his consciousness. Davis tricks Ralph and is killed by Lizzie. After a long fight, George, together with Kate, Davis, and Russell, manage to nullify Lizzie's threat and the movie ends with them helping out in the restoration process of the city.
And that's why you always bring a doctor.
Cast. We'll keep it short here, as in these types of movies, there's not a whole lot going on in the side of the human character, as the focus is more thrown at the monsters, a lot of them, and other giant mutated animals rampaging through cities. However, if a sequel ever happens, we're sure about Dwayne Johnson's return. He's the man of the hour in this franchise, and Naomi Harris should also come back as Dr. Kate Caldwell, with Jeffrey Dean Morgan a possibility to return as Harvey Russell. If a sequel ever is confirmed, we should be seeing a few other new cast members being added to the list, but so far, this is it.
You okay?
Plot. The Rampage movie has built an absurd universe and fans have liked it so much, thus the logical course of action for the sequel would be for it to take things even further from there on. The video game has had a long run with multiple iterations, numerous complex higher levels that can serve as storylines for the sequel. It's a long shot, but right now it's everything we got. The unique thing about the game was that it lets users play from the giant monster's point of view, a detail the sequel might look into. George regaining his consciousness can have a few implications. It'll be naive to think that corporate greed is behind us and the animals will be free from the dangers of genetic mutations. The sequels can have a low-key version of Planet of the Apes in this video game adaptation, where George can play a big role in influencing animals like Caesar the Ape. But we doubt that this will be how the movie will go, just a theory for now, just like everything else about Rampage 2 at this moment.
Brett and Claire, you sneaky sons of bitches. Thank you, son.
Yes, sir.
Now, remember the rat we talked about previously in the video? Well, it might just be the sequel. In the famous Atari Lynx port, Larry was a large rat that was famous for large-scale destruction, with later game versions having two additional rat monsters, Curtis and Red. We're pointing this out because Peyton has said that if he ever gets to make a sequel, he'll use the video game reference and name the rat Larry.
This is not a thing between us, it's a thing with him because he has a twisted sense of humor.
On a related note, tell us down in the comments below, how do you feel about the Rampage movie, and if you could, what changes would you implement in it? And also don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell icon if you'd like to see more videos like this in the future. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you next time.
No, come on, dude. Have some class, okay? I don't know what's gotten into him. Kate, I'm so sorry. George, stop.